The UDM, Inkatha Freedom Party, ActionSA, Numsa and 15 others returned to court this morning in their attempt to force government to provide alternative electricity sources to school, now police stations, including hospitals. Newzroom Afrika's Mnisi is outside the High Court in Pretoria. Joins us now. Linda, good morning to you. So yesterday, reports coming through that the court ruled in favor of the state in order that it avoids trying to have these alternative electricity arrangements being done within 60 days. Where do things leave these parties that have approached the courts to try and have government held accountable?
Well, in fact, only the parties, the applicants, that is, filed a notice to amend their initial application, right, where in Part A, in fact, and what they wanted was to basically include the issues around the timelines in which these alternative sources of energy would be delivered to schools, hospitals, police stations, as well as small businesses, but also to remove one of the respondents, being ESCOM, from Part A of this entire application. So you'll remember that the court is currently dealing with Part A, which deals, of course, as you would have said, as you've said there, about the issue around providing alternative energy sources to these institutions. So the court then making the ruling that this application to amend Part A, the application in Part A is late, essentially, that affidavits have been filed, arguments have been made, responding affidavits have been filed, and that another issue was that this application came at a time when it was essentially giving government very little time to respond. You'd remember that in such a case where these amendments would need to be made, the respondents, being the government and other parties who are cited, departments including President Cyril Ramaphosa, would have to consult with various departments in order to be able to come back and respond to the application to amend. And that process would take long because the government departments would have to consult with the relevant authorities within those departments in order to give proper instructions to the lawyers that are representing them in this particular court. So the court, ruling that it would be prejudicial for the state if it were to allow that amendment. The state had objected to it, saying it would be prejudicial because of all these processes that they need to follow. So the applicants at this moment remain with this Part A application, which still seeks the same relief in the immediate, that is arguing that these schools, while they still have to argue for the court to declare that President Cyril Ramaphosa failed in his constitutional obligation to provide uninterrupted electricity to South Africans. In the meantime, these schools and these other institutions need to be getting alternative sources, and that essentially saw the government defending the plans that government has to address load shedding.
Mnisi outside the Pretoria High Court, thank you very much for the time being.